Xi Jinping met Henry Kissinger. The lavish banquet sparks controversy. Beijing deploys DF-17 missiles close to Taiwan, which it can use in the first wave of an attack. Associate Professor Peking University. China's youth unemployment rate may be 46.5%. Heavy rains caused 5 deaths in eastern China, damages crops in northeast. On July 20th, Chinese leader Xi Jinping hosted a meeting with former U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger at the Diaoyutai Government Guest House in Beijing. He referred to Kissinger as an old friend and praised his significant role in developing Sino-U.S. relations. Xi said Kissinger's visit to China at the age of 100 and his long history of more than 100 visits to the country made the occasion particularly special. As a gesture of hospitality, Chinese officials organized a luxurious luncheon for Kissinger at the guest house. However, the grandeur of the event received widespread criticism from the public. According to CCTV, the banquet hall was adorned with eye-catching scroll paintings, and the table centerpiece was a collage of fresh flowers. The intricate artwork featured various elements, including a water scene, an arch bridge with flowers, and delicate works like the long-life fairy peach and winged fairy crane. A giant birthday peach with the Chinese character shou in the center, surrounded by 9 peaches to symbolize longevity, graced the central sitting position. Notably, inside the peach were 90 smaller birthday peaches, totaling 100, to celebrate Kissinger's centennial milestone. The napkins used during the party were uniquely crafted, with exquisitely carved gourd buckles, intended as a small gift for Kissinger upon his return to the United States. The menu showcased dishes recreated from a dinner in 1972, when Kissinger accompanied then-U.S. President Richard Nixon on his historic visit to China. Peking duck, Westlake vinegar fish, and 2 large shrimps were among the delicacies served. Despite the Chinese government's attempts to highlight the positive developments in Sino-U.S. relations, the extravagant lunch left many Chinese citizens dissatisfied. Hu Ping, emeritus editor-in-chief of Beijing Spring, expressed his disapproval on Twitter. It is already corrupt to treat foreigners with super high standards and use public funds for a lavish party. The waste is more serious than corruption. He criticized the government's actions, calling them unjust, and accused them of prioritizing self-glorification over the well-being of the people. Many netizens commented, "It must have cost a lot of money. Fresh graduates and unemployed youth will remember what they do. It's all about stealing people's sweat and tears. And China spends all their money here. People have no money for medical treatment. They can only drink pesticides. It makes civilized countries look down on them, in stark contrast to the extravagance of the national feast." A video circulating on Chinese social media shows an elderly woman in her 80s, without a pension or insurance, bent back, still having to harvest rice by herself. Another old man in his 80s, on a rainy day covered with a thin raincloth, pushed a small cart to walk 10 kilometers into town to sell fruit. Some netizens tweeted, "Don't those corrupt officials go online? Don't they feel embarrassed when they see these scenes?" Someone replied, "They are the ones who created these scenes." The Chinese Communist Party, CCP's Army Rocket Force, ARF, is deploying medium-range Dongfeng 17, DF-17, hypersonic missiles near Taiwan. The South China Morning Post, or SCMP's report, cited Decker Evelith, a researcher at the Middlebury Institute of International Studies, saying that the ARF has upgraded short-range missiles in the southeastern provinces of China with DF-17 medium-range missiles. Kapil Kajal, a land warfare reporter, said that the People's Liberation Army, or PLA, of the CCP set the mid-range 17 at the 61st base, Fujian province, next to Taiwan. Kapil Kajal said, "With the deployment of the DF-17 in the 61st base of the rocket force, the PLA seeks to acquire the capability to strike foreign military bases and fleets in the Western Pacific. These DF-17 missiles range from 1,100 to 1,500 miles, 1,800 to 2,500 kilometers, when mounted on a hypersonic glide vehicle. Their flight speed prevents them from being hit by U.S. missile defense systems such as THAAD, SM-3, and Patriot. According to Kajal, the PLA still has about 1,000 short-range missiles, which can reach Taiwan within 6 to 8 minutes, and has not entirely replaced them with the DF-17 at the 61st base. He added that the PLA could use short and medium-range ballistic missiles deployed in southern and southwestern China in its first strike on Taiwan. Eveleth said the intermediate-range anti-ship and anti-land DF-26, with a range of at least 1,800 miles, could reach Guam and other U.S. military bases. I would argue that it's the most important missile in the arsenal. The SCMP report notes that although the ARF only became an official service in 2016, it has played an essential role in the PLA's live-fire exercises. ARF also participated in simulated attacks against Taiwan in August 2022 and April 2023. Recent reports on China's youth unemployment rate have raised concerns about the accuracy of official government figures. In March, China officially announced a youth unemployment rate of 19.7%. However, a study by Zhang Dandan, an associate professor at Peking University, suggests that the real unemployment rate among young Chinese could be as high as 46.5%. Zhang Dandan explained her findings, stating, "If we consider the 16 million individuals who are not officially employed, including the unemployed and those in the loan group, the actual youth unemployment rate in China for March would be 46.5%, significantly higher than the government's reported figure." The wide gap between the official rate and the reported actual rate has led to questions from observers worldwide, with some speculating that the data released by the Chinese Communist Party, or CCP regime, may be misleading. Adding to 6DO World, the Taiwan Inspiration Association executive director, Lai Rongwei, accused the CCP of falsifying the youth unemployment rate. He claimed that it pressured educational institutions to conceal the true extent of the unemployment problem. According to Wei's sources, schools have relaxed their policies, allowing students to be counted as employed even if they work as little as 1 hour per week, or tutor for a single hour. In some cases, students may not work, but still generate fake employment numbers through various means, including using friends or relatives to vouch for their employment status. Furthermore, netizens have pointed out that the CCP or media may have coined new terms to obfuscate the concept of unemployment. For instance, being unable to find a job is now referred to as being late to work, and the low-income group is termed the group waiting for the rich. Frequent joblessness is relabeled as frictional unemployment, while the group of unemployed individuals is euphemistically called the flexible working group. The news about the alleged 46.5% youth unemployment rate in China for March has triggered heated discussion among Chinese netizens. Many have expressed skepticism and frustration, citing examples where minimal work or online activities were deemed sufficient to avoid being labeled unemployed. One netizen shared a personal story. "My nephew, 20 years old and lacking formal education or skills, has been unable to find a job for over a year. He wanted to work at a factory, but there are no job opportunities for workers." Twitter users also weighed in on the matter. Working for an hour counts as employment. Registering an account on Tianyu means free entrepreneurship, and the real unemployment rate is much higher than 46.5%. The overall unemployment rate will not be lower than 80%. No accident. I will be blocked immediately. I have never been unemployed. Everyone is slow to find employment. China is facing a new storm season, inflicting much damage to people and property. According to a Reuters report on July 23rd, 5 people are dead and 2 are missing after heavy rain burst a riverbank in a village in Dayuan Town, near Hangzhou City, eastern China, on July 22nd. Pictures in Beijing Youth Daily showed muddy water flooding the village's roads, entering houses, and overturning cars. On the same day, torrential rain also engulfed parts of northeastern China, damaging dozens of homes and crops in an area known as the nation's breadbasket. The Liaoning province government evacuated nearly 5,600 people to avoid damage from storms and floods. A district of Dalian City, the capital of Liaoning province, received 3.7 inches, or 93 millimeters of rain in an hour. Flooding has damaged about 133 acres, 54 hectares of crops in Jinzhou and the coastal city of Huludao. China usually has heavy rains in late July, but storms have become more intense and unpredictable in recent years, causing heavy losses. China has up to 150 cities flooded each year, despite efforts by authorities to improve drainage systems. The most damaging historic flood in recent years occurred in July 2021 in Zhengzhou city of Hunan province. The floods killed nearly 400 people, including 14 who drowned in a flooded tram. However, netizens believe the actual death toll was higher than the reported number. They have also accused the authorities in Hunan of slowness and mistakes in rescue measures, causing significant and unnecessary harm to people.